Hey, how's it going? This is your Daily Sweet Talk for September 16th, 2023. Uh, I come to you today in my Garfield hoodie and Garfield shirt with Garfield, to tell you we don't need any more Garfield. Uh, the comic, good. Keep doing that until Jim Davis doesn't want to do it anymore. Just yeah, and once Jim Davis is out of the picture, once they stop doing it, don't do it anymore. We don't need Garfield after that. Um, you can see how much I like Garfield, and I love Garfield and Friends. I've loved the stuff that Jim Davis hasn't been as involved in. I'm sure they were involved with Garfield and Friends, but just like it wasn't you know, the strip is their thing. Garfield and Friends is like a bunch of people working on it. Even though some people work on the strip now, I'm sure, like coloring and stuff. Some people say that Jim Davis doesn't write it anymore. I won't be sure about that until they say they're out of the picture. And then if they are, that's it. We don't need someone to take it over. We don't. It doesn't need to be a strip that I see so many comic strips that just like go on forever, and it's like why is Beetle Bailey still running? Beetle Bailey, they're still in the same war for like 50 years, and it wasn't even a war comic when it started. We don't need a new animated Garfield movie. Would be nice if they actually put work into it, and not to say they're not putting work in the new one, but if they're like actually trying to make a good Garfield movie, I should say, and not just like something cheap, which it seems like it's gonna be. If don't just make a new Garfield thing for the sake of it just having it around. If you want to capitalize on Garfield, you can do that without doing that. Like, we don't need Garfield in every single Nickelodeon game. We really don't need that. It's cool. Not every game. We don't need it. They're not a Nickelodeon character. I don't care if they bought Nickelodeon bought Garfield. They're not a Nickelodeon character. All they've done is make merch, and that's fine. Keep making the merch. That can be around forever, just like with Betty Boop. But they don't make Betty Boop cartoons anymore, and maybe it might be nice to have a new Betty Boop cartoon if we stop putting. And Garfield isn't everywhere now, but like we need a break. Just do the strip for as long as it goes, and then and that's it. And maybe someday, if someone really wants to make a good Garfield project, do that. Maybe once it hits the public domain, Lasagna Cat can make like a feature-length Lasagna Cat movie or something like that. They kind of already have, but in a way, consider depending on what you consider a movie. I don't need a new Garfield show. I don't need a new Garfield movie. I don't Garfield games, fine, okay, because that's like a form of merch. Just keep making merch. That's fine, because that's like that doesn't affect Garfield that much. There's always been all the Garfield merch. That's good, but Nickelodeon like wants to make the most of this Garfield purchase. Just keep making the merch. That's all you need to do. Don't make a new Garfield show unless you can really get like a good angle, someone who really wants to make a new Garfield show. Don't just make it for the sake of making a Garfield show. And don't just put Garfield in your Nickelodeon games. Just show off that you own Garfield. And I hope this Garfield movie... I don't even hope this Garfield movie is going to be like a Garfield movie that they're making because they wanted to make a Garfield movie, because that I just can tell that's not the case. They wouldn't have cast Chris Pratt as Garfield if that was the case. But in the future,